Instagram, social media, Twitter, YouTube, all of these platforms where you can become an influencer and become very influential. It's very important that people realize that everybody's not living the life that they portray online. And I'm somebody who has a big following and people know me and all of this. And I always try to communicate to people like, hey, live your life. If you have a job, if you have a husband, if you have a wife, if you have whatever you have, be okay with what you got. Because a lot of
Mm.
times you see these people online and they're not all who they're cracked up to be. So
Okay.
this Houston influencer named Brandon Sims, so he was very flashy online out there, had all the designer, all of the Louis, um,
Mm.
millions of dollars, the veneer, all of the things that
Living life.
living life, the things that you would think an influencer is supposed to have. He was that
Yeah.
guy. Well, he got his whole family wrapped up into this $12 million Medicaid fraud scheme, and they all pleaded guilty and are all going to jail. So this is a very unfortunate situation, but like I said, everything that glitters isn't gold. So you want to break down like what really happened with the case?
Yeah, sure. So a federal judge sentenced the whole family, like you said, and it involved a $12.7 million Medicaid fraud scheme that paid more than $1 million in kickbacks. So basically, what had happened was his family owned two facilities, right?
Right.
One was called Life Touch LLC. It was a substance abuse facility, a
For
place
addicted patients, right?
right. So some place where you're going to get better. Both of these, one was in Kingston, and there was another one in Goldsboro. Both of those places are in North Carolina.
Okay.
And they also had a drug testing company called First Choice Healthcare.
Okay.
And so basically what they would do, they had patients to come or people who needed to get their drug testing. But then they started making fraudulent charges and overcharging the Medicaid companies to the tune of $12.7 million.
Wow.
And so not only did the influencer, he got sentenced to 2.5 years.
Okay.
But there are other people in his family who got 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Two people, Keke Johnson, Francine Super,
Yeah.
they both got 6 years. Kimberly Sims got 2 years. He got 2 years. And they all have to pay. They all have to pay millions of
Now
dollars back.
let me kind of break this down. Now, obviously, I don't know anything about the inner workings of all of this, but
Like Medicare,
just based off
Medicaid.
well, not even the Medicaid. I'm just talking about the family dynamic and the family structure. Just based off of how many years each person got.
Mm-hmm.
What I think went on is either these two people that got 6 years either had some priors dealing with fraud, so mean this is not their first rodeo with fraud.
Yeah.
But let's take that off the table since we don't 100%
know that.
Really, what it comes down to is these people more than likely were operating the businesses. They were doing the fraud. They were running the business. Brandon Sims and Kimberly Sims are the younger people that are involved in this. Keke and Francis
Francine.
are older, and they were probably the brains behind all of this, running all of this. Now, Brandon, the one that got the attention to everybody because he was the influencer, he was lit, he's driving around in Rolls Royces and all of this. And allegedly, they got caught because they refused to file taxes.
Yes.
So they wasn't filing their taxes and doing this right. And like you said, this was a legitimate business.
I was going to
Usually
say.
fraud is when people are, doing credit card scams or something like that. Like,
No.
it's more fraud with legitimate business than fraud outside of like regular business. So they actually probably could have got away with this if they would just paid their taxes.
I was going to say, that's the point. There's a lot of people who don't realize like what a kickback is. Like these companies, these insurance companies are trusting these smaller companies that what you're billing is correct. What I said earlier was the crazy part about it is if it was $500,000, they probably could have got away with it.
Yeah.
They probably could have got away with it because they have so many clients. So it's going to be, they would have to, if they had paid their taxes, they would have had to really look for $500,000.
Yeah.
But the fact that you got so greedy that you overcharged about $12.7 million.
Greed kills a lot of scams and a lot of people. So,
because sometimes you got, because you are still helping people. That's the thing.
Yes, during the investigation, federal agents seized more than $6 million in cash.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's some money, baby.
Well, Brandon went. Did you see that part? Brandon went
and took $1 million in cash.
And put it in his safe. He found out about the investigation and immediately withdrew $1 million in cash and put it in his safe.
So they seized $6 million in cash. They took luxury vehicles, real estate. They took a Rolls Royce Cullinan. Mm-hmm. They took a Corvette, a Silverado. I used to have a Silverado.
Nice car.
Authorities say the fraud operation also lied during audits. So they was getting audited, falsified documents to hide their kickback scheme. And then once they got audited, they're like, okay, where's all this money? How y'all getting this money? Oh, how y'all got all this cash on hand? Oh, y'all doing the kickback scheme. And that's where the fraud was uncovered.
Yes.
So they were already under investigation. Anytime you do a transaction that's above $50,000 or $60,000, the government knows. Mm-hmm. Right? When you're doing this small stuff, like it's harder, it's easier. So here's the problem. It's easy to launder or hide money. It's easy to do it. The problem is, can you act the same way you act with $1 million in cash at the house? A lot of people, it's going to change them. They blowing this, they buying this, they doing this. But like, think about this. Imagine you had $1 million in cash and you said, all right, I got $1 million in cash. So I'm going to go work a regular job. I'm going to go to school.
Right.
I'm going to just pay my bills.
Right.
I'm going to pay my car note, and I'm going to pay my credit card bill, and I'm going to pay my rent. I'm never going to have rent, credit card bill, or a car note because I'm paying that out of the $1 million. Mm-hmm. And all my legal money I get, I'm just investing.
Right.
I'm investing. So I'm going to end up a millionaire, and then in a few years, because I don't have any bills and I actually have a job. That's an extreme discipline.
That is, man. Especially when it's in your face and you.
Most people, man.
I was gonna say it. It also is worth saying, like, these people don't come from millions of dollars.
Yes.
So that's another etiquette that you're not trained in.
They're not about to be disciplined. Most people who get this type of money is not about to be disciplined.
A Rolls Royce, though, dang.
I mean, you riding around in the Rolls Royce and like.
You don't think the IRS is going to say nothing?
Come on, man. This happens all the time. And people just, there's different ways to skirt around law, but like,
And I don't think a lot of influencers, you can probably count them, how many can afford Rolls Royces off of the influencing alone.
And then you had to think about it. Who do you think is some of your followers online? I realized this with my company. A lot of those people you think are bots are real people. They're executives at Charles Schwab. They're executives at J.P. Morgan. They're law firm partners at some of the top law firms. They can't put their face and image out there, but they still want to be in the conversation because they're human beings.
Yeah.
I remember it's this couple. They worked at some big law firm. And they like, man, we love your content. We love what you do. And I'm talking to them. They kept messaging me on the page, and I'm just like, who is this? And then I had dropped my merch, right? I dropped my merch, and they bought like 12 shirts, and I'm like, hold on, who is this? And then they sent me a picture of like, man, we love your merch, we love this, that, and the third, and I'm just like, why y'all don't like?
Yeah,
I thought y'all was
if you're real.
I thought y'all was fake, and they just like, yeah, man, we like work for the government, bro. Like we can't, you know what I'm saying? Like you a politician. Let's say you work for you work for the Biden administration, you work for the Obama administration.
Right.
Literally, you can't be online saying this and that. You got to be partisan.
But you still have your favorite influencers. You still have your favorite, topics that you want to chime in on and things like that. Exactly. But you need a forever Finsta.
Exactly.
You'll just never be yourself.
These be real people. So like the people that work for the IRS, they got Finstas. They see you flaunting online talking about all this money you got, and then you ain't paid your taxes or you ain't did this and that, and they like, hey, they can literally call your bank and be like, you had $3 million in the bank and you ain't filed your taxes. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They know. Like, I mean,
And it's
it's
not that hard with influencing too, because I mean you can look at the cases with like NBA YoungBoy and Young Thug, and how they utilize like their platforms
yeah.
to try and press charges.
Hmm.
So also it's not hard once they got kind of like suspicion and you call yourself an influencer.
Yeah.
Oh, now they got subject
All they
matter.
got to do is subpoena Instagram. They gonna literally give all your DMs up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They gonna give all that
But
up.
my thing is they probably don't have to, because you got it all online.
Right. I mean, you putting it on your
Yes.
story. Young
Yes.
Thug, they literally was quoting his story.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Instagram story, like
Hmm.
quoting what he was saying. And I'm just like,
Screenshots.
screenshot. And I'm just like, Young Thug, come on. You was acting like, I don't follow Young Thug, but when I was watching the case, I'm like, you was tripping, bro. Like, you was
Yeah.
really going out like that.
Yeah.
But again,
Everything that glitter is not
everything that
gold.
glitters, that's not gold. It is influencers and people online making real money and are legit. Like, I'm not saying people are all frauds, because I'm not a fraud.
Hmm.
But what I'm saying is, and then here's the problem too. They don't want to listen to a person like me. They don't want to listen to people who got real information, who's just chilling and not trying to flashy and throw stuff at them. And oh, I got 3 Rolls Royces. I'm a multi-millionaire. Ha ha! Look at me. You want to be like me?
Yeah.
I just be chilling.
Yeah.
Not doing too much, whatever. I got watches and stuff. I'm not a saint, obviously, but I'm saying my persona is not.
Mm.
Look at what I got. Look at what I
Yeah.
do. That's exactly who a lot of our audience wants to buy from. That's why they be easy to get scammed, because
Mm.
they want to live that lifestyle. They don't want to live like Kawhi Leonard or one of these people that like got their millions but like still driving an '04 Honda.
Got it.
They don't want to live the J. Cole lifestyle. They
Got
want to
it.
live like you said, they want to live the Young Thugs. They want to live these people that's flashy, flaunting, wearing $1 million worth of jewelry. And it's like, that's not reality. And obviously we see that with this fraud scheme.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's a lot of other influencers who coming out, on the wrong side of fraud. Thank you guys for watching. In order to continue to support independent journalism, I need you to subscribe to our page below. And also, if you want the full podcast and more exclusive content, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description.